North London remains red. Was there ever any doubt, seriously, was there ever any doubt that they were going to get smashed in this match? Arsenal 4-1. What a thumping in the North London derby. There's so much to talk about, so much to unpack, especially Ebere Eze's hat-trick. It was glorious. This is the Real Arsenal Deal podcast. Welcome back to the Real Arsenal Deal. Thank you so much for tuning in wherever you are in the world. I hope your smile is as big as mine. If you're watching on YouTube, I've been giggling, smiling all morning here. Melbourne, Australian time, the match kicked off at 3:30 a.m. As tough as that is, I somehow got back to sleep. Afterwards, I drifted off after a few post-match interviews, and by the time you actually get into a proper sleep, then it's around 6:15 a.m. and that's time to wake up and do it all again. So I'm running on adrenaline at the moment. I'm running on coffee and caffeine and just some seriously damn good vibes. I mean, I'll do all this again. Trust me, I do it every week anyway. When there's matches of this significance and we perform like that and send statement victories like we have just produced, I'll do it all again tonight. I genuinely mean that, hands down. I love this club. This is what propels me to record and produce this content, which I hope you enjoy. And I'm very, very grateful for anyone who tunes in. This is the kind of stuff that's I'm going to be remembering for a long time. It transcends just 3 points in the Premier League. I don't need to be from London to really appreciate that. Sure, I would never be able to truly emulate what this rivalry represents for people who live and reside in North London. I totally understand and acknowledge I am far distant and removed from that. What I can say, though, is that even being across the other side of the world, over my 30 years of following Arsenal since I was 14, 15 years old, 1995, I have learned and listened and read so much about the history of this rivalry and how much it means to people who live and breathe Arsenal in and around London. So I know what it means. I know what it means to the players. I know what it means mostly to the fans, of course. And the significance of a win like this, it's not just a stock standard run-of-the-mill, bank the 3 points in a regulation win and move on to the next match. It's far beyond that. Of course, that's the priority for Arsenal. We must capitalise every time our title rivals slip, and I'll come to that in a moment because heading into this match, there was an excellent opportunity for us to extend our lead over City. And look, I'm not sure if you still want to include Liverpool in the title rival conversation. I guess everyone varies, but I still do keep an eye on their results. And with City losing at Newcastle, it opened up an outstanding opportunity for Arsenal. And as we know, and as we've experienced, especially as recent as last season, we haven't capitalised when our competitors, our rivals, stumble. This was completely different. This is a different Arsenal. The energy, the mentality that's being transmitted by this club, starting with the manager, starting with Arteta, and even supported by the moves we made in the summer transfer window, investment by the owners. This is different. There's something very special happening at Arsenal at the moment, and I hope you are enjoying the ride as much as I am, because I know what the end result looks like. I'm dreaming about it. I'm sure you are too. It looks like a Premier League trophy to me. That's how it looks. Will we get there or not? Of course, it remains to be seen. But brick by brick, I'm going to use that Lego analogy again. Brick by brick, we turn the page on the instruction booklet. We add the pieces to that end product, which is the Premier League trophy shaped item at the end. And we are building. We are building brick by brick, block by block, week by week, match by match. This is what we are doing. And it's a phenomenal result for Arsenal. Just an outstanding result. This is the type of win that's going to, how do I say this? Because look, people have already sat up and taken notice of Arsenal. Of course, I'm not discounting that. You only need to listen to how other players and opposition managers refer to Arsenal in their press conferences, even in Europe in Champions League matches. So of course, we are very much on people's radar. But then a result like this, when we go out and we pound them 4-1, for all the huffing and puffing of Spurs, and of which there's many. I read during the week that they believe they can get something from this game, which I guess, a derby, anything can happen. But all the talk around that I saw circulated anyway, but all the talk around best away league form in the Premier League, some of them believe that they got the better signing, Simons instead of Eze. Pardon me. You couldn't script this. You just couldn't. It's his first senior hat trick. It's his first hat trick in his professional career, and he does it against Spurs, and he does it again in this match. Ebere Eze, who they wanted so hard, it was just a matter. It was a matter of closing that deal for Tottenham. They were in very advanced final stages, and it's that famous story, which I'm sure you all don't need me to recite in full, but reaching out to Mikel Arteta one last time. Hey, is there a possibility? Is there still a chance? Because he needs to know. Crystal Palace needs to know before finalising arrangements. And Mikel, I mean, the rest, we all know what happened next. Mikel's just like, just hold five. I've got a board meeting this afternoon, and he's going to propose. He's going to put forward the proposals to the right people at the club. Josh Kroenke was there, the ownership was there, and he had that direct dialogue with them. And you said, "Don't do anything yet. Let me come back to you." And just shortly after, he's signed and announced at Arsenal. It's an unbelievable story. Boyhood, childhood Arsenal fan. His family loves Arsenal. You can tell what it means to him. The grin on his face, I cannot possibly encapsulate how happy that made me. He was laughing. It was more than a grin, actually. He was covering his mouth. It was almost like to burst out into laughter. And I'm watching this. It's about 4:30 in the morning. I'm watching this in bed in the pitch black on my iPad. I'm giggling like a little schoolgirl. I really am. And not there's anything wrong with that, by the way. Not at all. We all need to laugh and giggle as things to propel us through life, right? To give us hope. I was giggling. It was amazing. Even my giggles, I was trying to cover my mouth so I don't wake anyone up in the house. It was surreal. I actually thought, am I dreaming? Am I dreaming this sometimes? Because very often I'm bleary-eyed. I don't quite know what the proper time is. I watch whatever time an Arsenal match is. I'll be tuned in. It's just part of the territory living on this side of the world. But there are times when I'm wondering, is this real? Did this really happen? And yeah, it did. It did. In fact, I actually missed his. I missed just after half time. I mean, it was so soon after the restart. Was it 35 seconds? I believe 35 seconds after the restart. I missed it because I was just tiptoeing back from the bathroom. And as you can see, even in the stands, a lot of fans, they're not seated for the whistle. They make their way back in the first minute or two, and it was bizarre. Then he scored again. And it was delirium. I'm still delirious about it. What am I watching? We are absolutely tearing them to shreds. It's one thing to be the better team, which clearly we are. I mean, I don't even need to put any supporting evidence to that claim. Clearly we are. However, to go out there and actually do it and pummel them, we've owed someone a good, when I say we've owed someone, I just feel the way Arsenal have played at times this season, we've left a lot of goals on the table. And you look at certain results or certain fixtures and think, okay, it could have been more than 1-0 or 2-0. It's just great every now and then to serve up a smashing like this. That's what I'm trying to say. It's been coming. Yes, that's a better way to say this. It's been coming from Arsenal to put it all together and actually go out there and batter them. And we had the foot on the throat, and this is what I love. We didn't relent. We didn't ease off. We didn't take our foot off the pedal. Sure, that one goal we conceded to Richarlison, it was completely out of the blue. I mean, to take nothing away, even at 3-1, I didn't think anything was really going to come of it, when a few years ago, you can probably I sensed it watching, that sometimes the nerves would creep into Arsenal, would creep into the fans. Not this time. That was just a complete aberration. And it's just, look, it's one of those things, it's the way we play. It's part of the territory. We are going to concede goals like that. In fact, we have already, haven't we? Just with the way we play, Raya plays so high. That's by design, by the way. So it's not a criticism about, I guess the tendency can be to look at that and think, Raya, what are you doing? What are you doing out there? But no, that's the spaces he occupies so much. If you're watching in the stands, like I know many of you are, you probably see him for the vast majority of the match winning possession. He's occupying those spaces. Every now and then, a once in a blue moment, it's going to happen. And other teams know. Other teams know this, that if you get a turnover, if you dispossess Arsenal, quickly take the shot, look up, because you're going to see Raya scampering back. And you just got to be good enough to capitalize, and fair play. Fair enough. It was an excellent goal. So I don't want to take anything away from that. The point I'm trying to make is that I was not concerned. I was not worried. We had more goals in us. And you look at our bench. I haven't even mentioned our lineup yet. I'm so sorry. I'm so all over the shop with this one. Please forgive me. I'm a bit delirious as I record this. The lineup. We saw the return of Madueke to the bench, Tinelli to the bench. Not quite ready yet. Are the likes of Odegaard and Gyökeres. I believe they're I believe that they're imminent, whether they start midweek against, or whether they're back in the squad against Bayern or next weekend against Chelsea. The noise coming out of the club is that we believe they're close, which would be amazing. Because all of a sudden, look at that bench. Look at the strength we had to come on. It's brilliant. So I had no worries at all, even in conceding that goal. And what was great is that Arsenal we just chalked it up to an aberration. It's back on the job, back on the focus. We didn't wilt. We didn't crumble under the pressure. If anyone did, it was Spurs. I mean, they absolutely crumbled under that atmosphere. That opening, by the way, full credit to the club. I was a little bit worried, a little bit nervous when I heard pre-match that we're working on an excellent tifo and display in pre-match stuff, which last time it didn't quite work out so well against PSG. So I don't want to bring all that up again. I think you know what I'm referring to. But the way we did it against Madrid was a beautiful European night, and it was just a bit of a shame that we couldn't emulate that again, recapture that in that match against PSG. But this time, boy, were they up for it. Full credit to everyone who worked on that banner. That was magnificent. It was so good. The color in the background, the light show, like I was feeling it. That woke me up. That's what I'm trying to say. That woke me up. Even though I was already awake and it's 3:30 in the morning, like I've got one eye, sort of drifting off to sleep. Sometimes it can happen, but that woke me right up. That was like spine tingling stuff. The hairs on the back of my neck was standing. That was amazing. And Spurs absolutely crumbled. They crumbled under that. You could almost see on their faces. They were shell shocked. They didn't know what to do. They barely had a sniff. I think I wrote this down in terms of statistics. It was 50 final third entries for Arsenal. Tottenham 0.007 XG comparative to the shots and the number of chances Arsenal produced. So we should have been ahead early in that opening 10 minutes. That was a beautiful scooped ball over the top to Rice. He's taking the first time volley. It just so happened to go straight at the keeper. Look, it is what it is, but he'd look back on that and think, damn, he's there for those reasons to time his run into the box. Beautifully picked out over the top from Eze. And it should have been 1-0. But they were fortunate not to be 1-0 down so early in the match. For me, though, it was just a matter of time. I knew that a first half goal would just change the entire dynamics. It means that they'd have to come and play the longer and longer, and we've seen this match many times, by the way, the longer and longer that we don't score the opener, the deeper and deeper teams sit in, especially at the Emirates against Arsenal. It's just something that we have to overcome. And so far, we are finding answers. We are answering every question being thrown at us. And by the way, there's a lot of people waiting for Arsenal to slip. Trust me, a lot of them. They praise Arsenal through gritted teeth. You can see it in the media and some of the interviews given, but they're just waiting, knives sharpened, for Arsenal to stumble. And imagine if Arsenal didn't win this one. We know the narrative. After drawing that last-minute equaliser against Sunderland pre-international break. We know what's going to happen. They'll dial the pressure right up. Bayern Munich midweek, Chelsea next week. They'll talk that up like it's a title-defining match with Chelsea sitting second place now. See, you know what's going to happen. But every single time, right, Arsenal are asked these questions, we are blocking out that noise and we are just responding on the pitch. So much so that the whole Michael Oliver thing, I didn't even notice it. I mean, until there was some, he was there close up on camera on the footage, barely even noticed it, because one by one, Arsenal have eliminated this distraction, this stuff from our game. The silly yellow cards, delaying the restart, and all the matches we finished with 10 men last season. Touch wood. This has been the discipline this year. This has been the framework. We know what we need to do. We just head down, focus. We're not getting sucked into any of the other stuff, and we're not giving the referees silly decisions to make, because we know that they don't need much in order to make themselves the main character. So one by one, Arsenal are just answering questions, getting stuff done. So this is such a big result. Let me go back now too, because I haven't even mentioned the opening goal. So Trossard, who I thought was magnificent, by the way. There's a wider conversation, which I may come to in a few minutes when we start to get some real key players back, some forward players back, about the permutations, the combinations of formation and players that we may see Trossard, though, in this little spell, in terms of answering questions, perhaps there's no better example than Leandro Trossard, because there were questions about him over the summer. Is it time to cash in at his age? Could we recoup some fee for him whilst he still has considerable market value? Can we reinvest and upgrade that left wing position? You know what? I've said this on the last few recordings as well. If you look at the output that we are receiving from that left-hand side, combination of goals and assists from Trossard and Martinelli, who has been missing for a few weeks, but now he will have his chance again soon. If you look at the output purely from a goals point of view, goal contributions, assists per minute, if you break it down, those sort of statistics, I would argue that that's going to stack up very favorably over any name that we were heavily linked to as a left wing upgrade, like the likes of Rodrigo and whatnot. I mean, what is he producing this season so far in the opening months of this season? I don't quite know, but the point I'm trying to make is, do we really need that significant level of an upgrade when you've got contributors like this? When you've got players who just come in, do the job, and you can see the intensity of which they play, the passion, the way Trossard has really evolved his defensive game as well since getting that increased deal. I think there's a lot to that. I think internally, that recognition of him and his salary boost that he received after an excellent 2.5 seasons at Arsenal in terms of his consistency for goals, right? I think there's been an elevation with Trossard. I think he's really stepped up in terms of leadership, in terms of output. He's just doing the job at the moment. I mean, how can you remove him? I know there's going to be a decision to make when Odegaard's back, or what do we do with Eze? Is there going to be a timeshare situation between Odegaard, Eze, or Eze and Trossard, Martinelli on the left? I don't know. It remains to be seen. Like, well, how beautiful it is to have these conversations, how wonderful it is to have these options, because there's more than enough matches, there's more than enough minutes. I mean, we can roll out and I don't use this term in a derogatory way, but we can roll out a second 11, a B team against Bayern Munich this week. And by that, what I mean is it really that considerable a drop-off if Martinelli starts, or if Lewis Skelly, Ben White come in as fullbacks? This is the caliber we're talking about. This is the levels. Now, these are the standards at Arsenal. Our squad is sensational. It's fantastic. And they're all ready. They're all at the caliber. I think there's a belief that whatever the manager needs, whatever the team needs, whenever it's their time, they will come in, they will do their job. If you look at the celebrations on the bench, there's one clip in particular. I'm not sure if they showed it in the global coverage, but here on Stan Sports in Australia, they showed it a couple of times. The scenes of Odegaard and Gabriel just behind the dugout, behind the players on the bench, celebrating like mad as a score. That's the unity we've now got. That's where I'm going with this, that they all buy in. They're all engaged. They're all in this. I think we're dreaming of something big this season. We're going to be going hard for multiple competitions, and boy, am I here for it. This is an amazing, amazing time to be an Arsenal fan. A wonderful, wonderful time. I hope you are enjoying the journey as much as I am, because it's just it's like nothing I've experienced in a long, long, long time in my Arsenal supporting life. It's just a beautiful, beautiful time. So let me get back to the goals. I'll stop gushing for a moment and get back into the serious stuff. So that ball from Merino was genius. So Merino himself, in terms of, if I was touching on Trossard in terms of, is he still underappreciated? Right, maybe Merino is too, because Merino, if you listen to the way the Spanish teammates talk about him, the Spanish coach, they talk about him like he's one of the great elite midfielders on the planet right now, and maybe he is, and maybe we just don't fully know what Mikel Merino truly is because of the nature of how he's been a bit of a utility knife type of player. Like wherever the team needs him, he'll slot in and he does it to the best of his ability. He's just a very technically proficient, very elegant footballer as well. There's a very natural, elegant way to the way he moves and traps the ball and passes the ball. I love watching players like him. Eze is similar. Just there's a gracefulness to when they're on the ball. They seem to have a lot of time when there's actually not that much time in and around them, but just very naturally gifted footballers. And Merino, I loved how he just waited. He didn't panic. With Merino as the quote unquote number 9, this is what he does. He comes in quite deep. He drops in. You wouldn't really see Gyökeres in those sorts of positions. You'd see him right in the box waiting to receive the ball coming from the positions that Merino occupies. But Merino, he didn't panic. He just looked up, he sees Trossard. Trossard looked, he made sure he was onside, timed his run beautifully, and it was a lovely, just, what do you even call that? It's like a spin, 360 pirouette, and he's taken the shot. He's probably caught a few players by surprise, especially the goalkeeper. I think it's grazed the studs of whichever defender managed to get there, but it's gone in and 1-0, and we fully deserved it. There was no question that we deserved that. I mean, Spurs, did they even do anything really of note in that first half? Actually, even during the match, aside from that moment where Zubimendi was a bit lax on the ball and got dispossessed and they scored, did they really do anything of note? I'm struggling to recall anything, but it was just a matter of time. And what I loved is that we were straight back on and we sensed blood. This was I think 36 minute started, so we still had a good 10 minutes or so before halftime to press down the advantage. Not often Arsenal would do this in the past. Sometimes, you know, we can go into our shells a little bit and just think, okay, we're ahead now, just get to halftime, nothing silly, go in with a 1-0 lead and let's go again in the second half. But not this current team, not in this performance. We sensed blood and we went for it because the crowd was up for it. We could feel the energy. They were searching. And Eze, okay, then the next little portion of this recording is going to be Eze's time. He was magnificent this game. The way how much space that he seemed to find, all his goals came in from a very similar position, the top of the box, essentially. Like, how is he allowed to do that? If you're a Spurs fan, which I feel sorry for anyone who is, when they look at that, they think, how is he afforded so much space? Where's the midfield? Where are the trackers? Where's their defensive shape? Where are the centre backs? He just finds a way through and he has time and he just slots it home. He should have had 4, by the way, even after his hat-trick. There was another shot that he took. It was well saved on the left hand. Strong hand palmed it away. But he could have had more. I mean, a number of players could have had more goals in this. I haven't even mentioned Saka. I thought Saka was outstanding. And maybe this is a good time to even mention, as a team effort, as a team collective, I don't think anyone was really below a 7.5 or 8 out of 10. And that's just the standard now. That's just the standard. You know what you're going to get from Saliba. You know what you're going to get from Yuri and Timber. Their consistency. Rice, we know, is an absolute machine. The way he gets up and down the pitch. Saka, I just mentioned, was outstanding. His corner deliveries, maybe if you're going to be a little bit nitpicky, maybe the corner set piece deliveries weren't quite up to scratch, but we didn't need them. It was 4 open play goals this time. And even without Gabriel, Hincapié has come in. This is a seasoned international. He's an international captain for Ecuador. He's an invincible for Leverkusen. And he can just slot in, start his first Premier League match in a red-hot temperature of a North London derby, and he looks like he's been at the club for 10 years. He looked fantastic. And Hincapié is someone I think we're going to see a lot of. Now, I do believe he'll start against Bayern. I mentioned it in my preview recording that Arteta seems to utilise the players who have that league experience against a Champions League opposition. We saw it with Athletic Club. He was always going to play Moreno and Zubimendi and Mosquera in that sort of match using their La Liga Spanish experience. And I think Hincapié starts against Bayern midweek, and that's fantastic. It's not a problem. Whether he started this match or Mosquera, it's not even a cause for concern. Like when the team was announced, when I read the team sheet a few minutes before the match started this morning, it's just fine. It's fine. There's no question marks for me. I looked at the bench. I was wondering, has Gyökeres made the bench? But he didn't. It is what it is because we've got more than enough there. We had more than enough in the starting 11. I believe Mikel Merino is growing into that role. Sure, it's not plan A. We all know that. I mean, this is not to discredit or detract from Merino's proficiency as a footballer. We all know it's not the plan, and it's a temporary holdover thing until we get the likes of Havertz, Gyökeres, and then Jesus a bit later this year back. So until then, wherever you put these players on the pitch, they just know their job. They know the job that's assigned to them, and they believe and they have the mentality to go out there and do it. And the players who come on from the bench, they're ready, they're prepared. We didn't make that many subs this match, actually, did we? There was some late substitutions. Waneri came on, Lewis Skelly, Madueke I'll come to in a moment, of course. Lewis Skelly came on. We changed things at fullback. Great to see Madueke on. He came on for Trossard. Trossard got an excellent reception. And maybe it was time as well to bring Eze off just so he could have that moment too. He could be serenaded by the crowd. But that sounds a bit nitpicky, doesn't it? Maybe he was given the option and he decided that he wanted to see out the 90 because, yeah, maybe he sensed more goals. I already mentioned he had the chance for a fourth and maybe he wanted to keep going and see however many he can get. So, look, fair enough. That's a minor thing. But Madueke back. This is massive. This is fantastic. Saka's playing a lot of football lately, as I'm sure you have noticed as much as I have. We've got to protect him. It's still only November. We're coming into that festive season now. It was around this time last season where, touch wood, I don't want to jinx anything here, but around this time last season, after playing a lot of matches for club and country, that Bukayo had that very nasty hamstring injury that required surgery. So we've got to manage him now. We've got to manage this, protect him. Get through the next few weeks, get through to Christmas and New Year. The fixtures they're unrelenting. It's 2-3 times a week. So we've got the squad now. We've got the players returning. Let's utilize them. I wouldn't be concerned whatsoever if Madueke needed to start a match on the right and timeshare 60, 70 minutes with Saka. That's fine with me because just remember, before Madueke got injured, unfortunately, it's been about 2 months, by the way. It seems like quite a while. His knee injury kept him out for. He was doing great. He was fine at the right wing. He was really growing into it. The crowd were really appreciating his efforts. They were serenading him with the "Oh no Madueke" chant. I remember that very clearly. So he's fine. He's at the level. He's got tremendous opportunity and upside in him. So let's just see him back. Martinelli didn't even feature in this match. Didn't get a minute. So perhaps he's been protected for midweek and away at Chelsea. We know he has an excellent at Stamford Bridge. So I just look throughout this entire squad and I just see options. I see depth. I see opportunity and I see glory as well awaiting us. I don't want to go too hard on that point because you know how if you've listened to the channel before, you know I'm quite superstitious as well. I don't want to jinx and go too far ahead of myself. But right here, right now, what Arsenal are doing is just wonderful. It's just a beautiful, beautiful time to be an Arsenal fan. I'm going to be consuming as much Arsenal-related content as I can today. I can't wait to see the Ian Wright celebrations. I believe, he was on commentaries. Usually they show his, they clip up his goal celebrations, watching it live, and they show it post-match. So I'll find that on YouTube for sure. I'll be watching as much as I can. The player interviews, it's just going to be great. And we can ride this wave now. Got a huge match midweek against Bayern. We owe them as well, by the way. We most certainly do. There's a few players who want to, notch a win against them after all the pain Bayern Munich have inflicted over many, many years now. So it's just a great, whoever starts that match, I'm not even concerned. I'm not even worried because we've got the players. We've got the caliber there. They step in, step out. They're at the level. They perform. And then we bank the win and we go again the next week. This is just a wonderful, wonderful time to be an Arsenal fan. So I'm going to bring this one to a close. Thank you so much for listening. If you could please like and subscribe on YouTube, let me know how you feel. I read every single word. Please send in any comments or feedback. Where did you watch the match? I would love to hear. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify, please follow the show. Please leave me a review. A 5-star review will be fantastic. It helps boost visibility and engagement for the channel. So again, thank you so much and just enjoy that. That's the overriding message I've got here. Just enjoy moments like this because these are special times to enjoy as an Arsenal fan in what is shaping up to be hopefully a very special season. So look after yourselves, stay well, take care everyone, check in with your loved ones, and come on Arsenal.